Kia ora, this is season 3 of the Hard Way podcast. I am your host, Molly, and if you haven't been here before, welcome. This podcast is all about creating conversations, raising awareness, and just talking to some really cool people about some really incredible things. The Hard Way is a safe space, a little family, and to be honest, I'm just your crazy aunt who you're going to learn all of your lessons from. Keep listening and stay tuned because season 3 is going to be huge. And as always, team, we're learning things the hard way. Welcome back to another episode of The Hard Way. Woohoo! Today I am joined by a really special guest, and we're actually in person, which is fun because I've been doing lots of Zooms at the moment. So, welcome, Courtney Pitcher. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Courtney, also, I would like to just plug really quickly, has her own podcast.
I do.
Which has just started up, and it's all caught up.
It is. A fun play on my name.
Yeah, I know, so cute.
Yes, hello. So I have a podcast. It's called All Caught Up, and it's basically about catching up with friends and family and people doing cool shit and just talking to them about how they got to where they are. Not just glossing over the good stuff, but also talking about more serious issues and failures and mistakes we've made that led us to where we are today. It's basically just to catch up with friends, like you're all hanging out.
Yeah, really very similar vibes to The Hard Way, I
Definitely.
think. Ours is very more like very mental and very like challenging and things like that, but just a conversation and just a conversation with friends. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Thank you. We love a plug.
So the first thing I kind of wanted to ask you is, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm 24. This is weird. I usually am asking the people about themselves.
I know, you have
so
to
it's
like
weird. Okay.
think.
Yeah, I'm 24. I'm from Wellington, but I live in Auckland. I obviously have this podcast, but I also work full-time in social media and public relations, which I love. It's pretty hectic, but it's a good time. I'm really into makeup and dancing. I used to dance my whole life. I do like a hip-hop class just for fun now.
Oh my god, do you?
Yes, yeah. In Grayland. Okay.
Come.
It's really fun and it's like inclusive and like you don't have to be a good dancer. Like, I have no rhythm these days.
I really want to come.
Okay, let's do it.
God.
It's a Thursday.
You've got a partner?
Yes, I have a partner. We've been together just over a year and a half. We moved in together actually just before Auckland went into that horrible 4-month-long lockdown. So that was a real experience, but actually it worked out well. We've come out stronger than ever, which is so nice, but it definitely could have gone
either way.
And he's a real sweetheart.
That's what I kind of wanted to talk about first, I think. Obviously, you said you just moved in together.
Yeah.
And then you went into lockdown. How was that experience for you? You obviously said it's been positive and made you guys stronger. But were you nervous at all, knowing that you were going to be stuck with him in a house for 4 months? Well, you didn't know it was going to be 4 months.
Yeah, no. It was really interesting. So I'll just preface by saying that Aaron is my first partner. I've never been in a relationship before him. So for me, a lot of things are new or the first time doing things. Yeah. And so, first time living with a partner. I know Aaron has lived with one of his exes before. So I guess bringing that in. But yeah, we moved in and then obviously the lockdown happened. And it was meant to only be 3 days, so I think that's fine. But the longer it got, we just really learnt a lot about each other and the way we are. Because obviously when you're dating someone and they're like, spend a few nights at your house or you'll spend a few nights at theirs, it's not the same as when you're together and you've got all your stuff together and you're both working full-time. It was definitely stressful. We were both working full-time from our bedroom, desks at opposite ends of the room, so hard, and then hanging out there afterwards. I think we worked pretty well. We don't really argue. I'm very dramatic and over the top, I will admit. He is so calm and collected, and he just understands that that's the way I am. So that worked really well. And I guess in saying that, we also just moved into a new flat with flatmates that we didn't know. So also the fact that we knew and had each other was quite nice.
Yeah.
We definitely both struggled and had our ups and downs in terms of being stuck inside and not being able to go and do the things we love or see the people we love and stuff like that. But it almost worked out well that when I was feeling down, he would be feeling a bit more up, and then when he was feeling a bit languishy, I could try and bring him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, towards the end, it did just get a bit repetitive and a bit like...
Which I think obviously would happen with most couples, but I think it's incredible to be able to say that you guys learn so much about each other. Because
Definitely.
You do learn so much. It's an experience, and it's something that you would never really experience in this day and age or in a relationship with someone. And now you're like locked with them for 4 months, sharing a room, sharing a house. It's like you don't have any outside activities or like experiences or things to do in a day. So you're very much like, okay, this is who I am. You either love it or you hate it.
And I think surviving that, and if you have come out the other side, because I know obviously there would be a few couples that may have ended, because 4 months is a long time to be stuck together.
Yeah.
But if you did make it, I just feel like it shows that you guys work well together and you can make it through anything. Lockdown for me was especially difficult time with my work and everything, and I had severe anxiety and was just not in a good place.
Yeah.
And the fact that my partner really stepped up, his name's Aaron really stepped up and was there for me in the way that I needed was amazing and made me like him even more.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, seriously, it was so... I was in some sort of terrible way, and so just having him there supportive was like...
Well, it's also
perfect.
being in the space together, right? Because if you had been in separate housing, he would have supported you like through a text message if he couldn't see you. So I think it's very like hard and fast and full and intense. But if you're having a really hard time, you're with that other person.
Totally.
You're not going anywhere.
And I think, yes, definitely for some people, so we moved in together just after being together for a year, which for some people may be fast, and for other people it may be slow.
Yeah.
I just think, like, you know when you know, and don't compare your relationship to other people or the speed they're going at, because the way it works for you is the way it works for you. They're not involved in the everyday. Other people aren't in your relationship, so don't let them, like, dictate how you do yours.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people who I'm like, it's your relationship and you decide when things work. And I'm so for being independent, but I'm also so for living with each other, because one, it usually makes things easier, and two, it opens so many things up that if it doesn't work, it's probably never going to work.
Exactly.
I'm like, if you live with someone and you can't do it, and you can't like change a couple things or work collaboratively together to get over some struggles or things like that, it's probably never going to work.
I agree.
So it may be a blessing in disguise to learn if you can't live with them, you probably can't be with them.
And it's interesting because you think of like people who, many people don't live together until they're married because of religious reasons and things like that, but it's like, I don't think you fully know a person until you live with them. Like, there
100%.
are quirks and things that, like, they may leave their socks on the floor. Oh, that was a terrible example. They may, like, not hang their towel up on the towel rail or something that may really bug you, and it's only little things, but they're things you won't pick up on, you won't know until you've lived with them.
It's also just sleeping with someone else as well. Like, it takes a lot of getting used to.
It does.
Sleeping on your own for, like, however many years of your life, and then sleeping with another human being every single night.
Yeah.
And you don't have the choice. And some people love it, some people hate it. But I think you do have to really learn and experience it, and then you'll know if you can do it.
Totally.
But yeah, I definitely feel for those people in lockdown who did not come out the other end.
I know, that's tough.
It is really hard. And it's not perfect for everyone. Like, Conrad and I did lockdown separately this time, which was
how was that?
awful.
That would have been horrible.
It was so hard. It was just one of the hardest things I think I've done. And we're not a crazy texty FaceTime-y couple anyway. Like, we literally hardly talk during the day. I would want to like FaceTime or talk to him every day because I was like, I'm not seeing you. Yeah. But we just didn't have anything to talk about.
No, because we haven't done anything.
Yeah. And then it was just getting boring, and it wasn't boring because we actually didn't have things to talk about, because we always talk, but it was just like we both weren't doing anything and we weren't actually seeing each other, and it was like, I don't know, almost was just a teaser and then just boring.
Yes.
We were like, this isn't even, so we stopped FaceTiming, messaged me like twice a day.
And
I was just like, oh.
And it's like, if you were together, you could at least pop a movie on and
Yeah.
like, still nothing to talk about.
Well, like cook
you haven't
dinner
done
together,
anything.
doing something that is a bit more normal.
Whereas
than
FaceTime,
just,
it is just like
hey.
conversation.
Can I ask you
Yes.
about when you were in lockdown and you were having some emotional troubles, anxiety troubles? What was that stemmed from?
So I think, first of all, I had been through a heap of change.
Mm-hmm.
So I left my job and I did my last week of my job in lockdown.
Yeah.
We'd just moved into this new flat and we live with 3 others. So there's 5 of us in total who we didn't know before we moved in, and we moved in the week before lockdown. So first of all, finishing up my old job, about to start a new one, moving into a flat where we don't know anyone, and then also moving in with Aaron itself is change. And I definitely think I'm a person who's getting better at change, but I really I do not like it. I like people who are in my life. You got to stay there, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
the same.
Yeah.
Fuck change. Like,
totally.
I'm learning to love it a bit more, but it's hard.
Yeah, change can be good.
Yeah.
And so I, long story short, started this new job, and it was basically my dream job. Like, an amazing company with super cool people, a great role, a role that was what I feel above my experience, to be honest.
Yeah, you could have done it, but you didn't have enough experience to back yourself.
So I basically got this role, and it was higher up than I expected to get. Stoked to get it, very nervous to go into it. And obviously starting in lockdown made it so tricky because you're not there. I literally didn't meet any of my team, was just working, you know, it's just me and Aaron in the room. It's not like I've got that buzz and rush, and working in PR and stuff. It's very fast paced. Things, the turnarounds are fast. Things change really quickly, and it's nice. I'm a very social person, to have all those people around you who are doing it at the same time and like sort of bounce off each other and that sort of thing. So there was not a lot of that, you know, human connection, obviously, because we're in lockdown. And I think I psyched myself out. Like, the fact that it was the title and the role was higher up than what I expected and what I thought I would get or could do. I went into it with these doubts in the back of my mind. And so I was producing good work. I think, like, if you talk to them, they would be happy with the work I was doing. But I was absolutely psyching myself out. I felt sick. I was so anxious. I was sitting at my desk in hysterics, crying while doing work. And I just felt frozen in almost like anxiety and stress. So I would get up and I would sit at my desk at 7 a.m. and be there till 9 p.m. And it's just like I'm waiting for those emails to come in. I'll be doing work, but it was just so stressful. I just like had to be there. I couldn't physically bring myself to leave the room. And like I'd hear the ding of the email and I would feel sick to my stomach. I'm like, what's this? What else do I have to do? Oh my God, I'm not working fast enough. And because it was a new thing and I was learning.
You're like not self-teaching, but kind of, because you get a new role, but you have to start it from your bedroom and you have to teach yourself how to do the job that you want to do. You can't like go next door to the other desk and be like, I really just need a hand.
Yeah, exactly.
A hand, like, no.
And so I just really psyched myself out and it was just getting worse, and I ended up having to go on anxiety medication, and I just knew it wasn't right for me when I started having thoughts about like wishing I would have appendicitis or like break my arm or something so that I could go to hospital and I wouldn't have to do the work, which is terrible.
That is terrible.
Because
that's not self-harm, but it is self-harm.
No, and having those thoughts, absolutely, I was like, right, this is not all